playing a show, and hopefully never in the same town. But
That's fantastic. Max, it's really a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us in the
thank you for
studio.
having me.
And I know we're going to play another tune from you, from your album before the hour is over, but I'd like to introduce us to Jacob. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Jacob is a singer-songwriter like Max. He's 20 years old, born and raised in Madison. But he and Max met, apparently, I know it's a funny story, but I don't know the details. How did you guys meet?
Well, Max used to work at Guitar Center, and I just would go in there like every musician in a candy shop and just buy things, and he sold me a lot of stuff. And then he came. I also work at a restaurant, and he came into my restaurant, and I was like clearing his table for him, and he's like, "You look familiar. I feel like I know you." I was like, "I feel like I know you too." And then I was looking for shows around town, and then I ended up at True Coffee, where Max does most of the booking for, and then I ended up sending him an email not really knowing who he was, and I was like, "Hey man, can I get a show?" And you were like, "Yeah, do I know you?" And I was like, "I think so."
That's awesome.
And then we got me a show, and then we just,
And now we're here.
now we're here.
Excellent. And you're opening tonight, right, at the Frequency?
Yes.
That's great. So,
Yeah, do you guys ever collaborate on anything?
Not yet.
It's hard when you live halfway across the country,
Yeah.
but I'm sure
Maybe-
someday that'll happen.
Yeah.
well, that's great. Is your or I'm interested. I know you have your guitar.
Yes.
You're going to play for us. Would you, having listened to Max and knowing his songwriting, do you feel like you guys are similar, different? If you're different, how so?
I feel we're similar, but I feel like Max has a little more country roots, or some kind of more definitely Midwest roots, where I kind of am not. Just more. I'm a little more on the pop side, as tainted as that word is sometimes.
Sure.
It's sadly what I am, but I accept it.
How long have you been doing what you're doing? When did you start, when you were a teenager also?
Well, I started playing guitar when I was like a freshman in high school, and I didn't really take it seriously. And then senior year of high school, I was like, "Oh, I can do this," and I actually started writing songs. And I was never really like thinking about I was doing it for real. And then I went to college for a little bit, and I didn't really work out. And then I came back, and I was like, "All right." After my first semester of school, I came back, and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna do this for real now." And then also only recently have I been actually very focused on it.
Oh, that sounds like a great story. Are you ready to play for us?
Yeah, sure.
Great. I think we're going to have you and Max switch spots.
Okay.
And again, in case you missed it, Max and Jacob are playing at the Frequency tonight. Doors open at 7 p.m. The Frequency is in downtown Madison. And it is the release party for Max Dvorak's second album, Little Things. And this is Jacob Jones in the WSUM studios.
Okay. And I've tried so hard to just get by. Can I say it again for the last time? And now you're gone, gone, gone away, and I did stay. And now you're gone, gone, gone away, and I'm afraid. And I stumble in the dark, get myself lost. Where is my home? Doing what I know with someone I don't. She isn't you. It's everything I've done since you walked away. Disappears every time I hear your name. And now you're gone, gone, gone away. And I did stay. And now you're gone, gone, gone away. And I'm afraid. And I stumble in the dark, get myself lost. Where is my home? Doing what I know with someone I don't. She isn't you. She isn't you. And I stumble in the dark, get myself lost. Where is my home? Doing what I know with someone I don't. She isn't you. She isn't you. And I see you in everyone. I see you in everything. Your light is calling me, so I run to the night. And I stumble in the dark, get myself lost. Where is my home? Doing what I know with someone I don't. She isn't you. 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 And I stumble in the dark, we get ourselves lost. This is my home. Doing what I know with someone I love. You aren't her. 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 You aren't her.
Wow, that was incredible. So what was that song called?
That song is called Stumble in the Dark.
Yeah, so when did you write that?
Ooh, I wrote that about quite a few months ago. After I got back from school, and I was at home doing my thing. So, like 4 or 5 months ago.
Was there a particular person that you were thinking of?
Yeah, there was, but I don't want to say too much about that. But
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? I'm just kidding.
oh,
I am curious, and I know that Max mentioned sort of the creative process when it comes to songwriting. And when you are sitting down to write a song, is it something that you do on purpose, or does it happen by accident, or both? Can you share that with us?
okay. Well, I have kind of two different creative processes. There's the one like Max where you got to force it, like you just got to write something, and then there's my second process is when my insides are just telling me get down here and write something, and you just gotta write something, and not because you can, but because you have to, and just say some things that you can't really talk about. Like there's just some things that you just can't say to someone. You got to sing it. So with a lot of guitar behind it.
So is songwriting a way for you to let out your emotions?
Oh, absolutely. I kind of came into songwriting as a way of, growing up, I didn't have really the best ways of expressing myself. there were ways, but it was like not really. It just didn't feel natural, and so I picked up songwriting as a way of saying things that I couldn't, and expressing things that were impossible for me to just tell people.
You know, I find this to be an ironic paradox of songwriting. It's sometimes songwriters put some of the most intimate secrets in their songs, something that I wouldn't tell more than my best friend. They tell 500,000 people.
Yeah.
And does it feel like a way to open up, or is it more like like a protective jacket that you can wear to hide yourself?
Well, I don't really think it's either, because I don't write songs with that are that personal with the idea of, yeah, I'm going to tell everyone this. Everyone's going to know this after I write this song and put it out there. It's more of a way of finding people to relate to, because if like you get done with a show and after you played some real songs, and then one person came up to me once and was like, hey, that song is really good. It just made my day. And then that was really all they said, but it like lets people out there, lets you know that there are other people out there that kind of have that same feeling as you. So you're like, oh, this is real. And
It's
it
a
comes
neat
from
way
a
to
good
connect.
place. Yeah.
That's great. Do you have another song you could play for us?
Yeah.
Great. I think what we're going to do is we're going to hear another one from you. And given we have 15 minutes or so left in our show, Max has another song, and we're going to take advantage of this musical talent. If you guys decide you want to do a jam session in here, that'd be awesome too. And what's the name of this song you're going to play for us?
This song is called Back to the Start. So it may seem that all that you are is one more scar laid onto my heart. I know that I might end up alone, but I can't seem to give up my throne. When I'm with you, I forget it all. I'll open my heart, but what if I fall? I don't know if I can go through this again. I don't know if I can be more than a friend. Ever since I felt that burn in my heart, I've been so afraid to go back to the start. Caught me off guard, you've taken me down, kicked off my throne and tarnished my crown. Don't get me wrong, I needed this. No longer the king of loneliness, but I don't know if I can go through this again. I don't know if I can be more than a friend. Ever since I felt that burn in my heart, I've been so afraid to go back to the start. I don't know if I can go through this again. I don't know if I can be more than a friend. Ever since I felt that burn in my heart, I've been so afraid to go back to the start. I never wanna be apart. I never wanna be alone. But I'm so afraid to be away from my throne. Oh, I don't know if I can go through this again. I don't know if I can be more than a friend. Ever since I felt that
burning my heart. I've been so afraid to go back to the start. I've been so afraid to go back to the start.
Wow, that was also incredibly impressive.
Thank you.
So do you have a story behind that song? I mean, you knew I was going to ask that. Right?
Yeah. The song is just kind of about being a little afraid to put yourself back out there. Like, you put yourself out there, completely shut down, and then you're just like, I don't know if I want to do that again. And that's pretty much it.
That sounds great. Well, how can people listen to this music? I mean, other than the radio show, can they find you on iTunes or on Facebook?
I'm on Facebook and on YouTube as well. My YouTube is on my Facebook. It's facebook.com/JacobJonesOfficial. I haven't really put anything out yet, but some stuff is coming.
Okay, great. And what about shows? I know tonight you'll be at the Frequency.
Yes, tonight I'll be at the Frequency.
Any other shows upcoming?
Not in Madison.
Ah. Well, we look forward to hearing you this evening. Max, I'm going to invite you to come back on the microphone. I have a couple of questions that are related to some of the stories we've been doing with Youth on Assignment.
For sure. What's up?
We spent since November, actually, every week we were talking to different guests about homelessness, teen homelessness, family homelessness, and we had guests from Briar Patch and the Salvation Army. And one of the things in the back of my head, and occasionally came up, were some of the homeless panhandlers and street musicians that people see around Madison, and how the homeless have sometimes tied music to their situation. Do you encounter that, or when you see panhandlers or musicians, street musicians that are clearly living out of their car, can you relate, or how does that experience touch you?
Biggest thing is I look at that and hope that I don't have to do that at any point in time. Street performing is cool. It's very tough to do that in a lot of cities. You, especially here, a lot you get chased out. It's a lot of places don't really accept it as well, and it's tough to really make a go at it.
How about you, Jacob?
I try to help them when I can, but it's like just giving them $1 or so isn't really going to help them the most. And I do feel for them, but there's not a whole lot that I can do to help.
What's interesting though is the difference like $1 can make for those folks. That I think everybody's walked by like a street performer that's intrigued you in one way or another that you deem worthy of giving him $1 for, and sometimes just their face just like lights up and it's like you made their day just by dropping $1, and let alone like a 5 if you're nice enough to do that. But it's interesting.
Do you feel like the street performers in many ways are hoping to build on their music, and it's sort of their only way to perform at the moment, and then eventually the music will pay the bills? Or is it a fallback that they're homeless and they're like, well, at least I can do this and help pay the bills, and then once I'm back in a home, then the music is something I don't need to rely on anymore?
I look at it like probably no differently than most musicians that play music on any level. Like even for those guys, regardless of the situation that they're in, it's still like their outlet. It's their outlet of expression and creativity. So it's like, we're fortunate enough to have always grown up, with a roof over our heads and like a nice comfy room with a heater where we can play music. Those guys are essentially doing the same thing except sitting on a park bench somewhere. And I guess it's really not all that different in a way. It's still just their honest and earnest expression.
Do you occasionally we hear people and see stories that come across YouTube or Facebook and whatnot about people who are quote unquote discovered these prodigies who are homeless street performers, and then I think of the pianist out west, for example. Do you guys run into that or hear stories about that?
Actually, at Berkeley, there's a couple kids out there that are like that. They came from very impoverished situations, and someone just kind of found them and recognized the level of talent that these kids had, and like somehow got them to where they needed to be. As far as the prodigies that find their way via like YouTube or some other like online medium. I guess I haven't really encountered that too much, but
I'm not at Berkeley, so I don't encounter it as much. But
there's a kid that I had class with this last semester who he's completely blind and walks around with a cane, and sometimes he has a dog or a helper with him, and he's got a full 100% ride to Berkeley just because he's this incredible guitarist from like Venezuela or something, and the kid speaks barely any English, but oh my God, can he kick my butt at guitar? It's scary, but and that's similar to that situation.
Wow. Well, Max, I know. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the show that's coming up this evening and sort of the details behind that? I know you have another song for us too.
Okay. So tonight we're playing at the Frequency. Jacob and I are both playing at the Frequency, which is downtown on Main Street, right off the square. It's for my big album release, the sophomore full-length record that I'm putting out today. We have Jacob's opening the show, and then my good friend Todd Kessler from Chicago, who was on season 3 of The Voice, is coming up, and he's going to play right before me tonight. So it should be a very exciting and fun night of music. Doors are at 7 o'clock. It's an $8 cover. Come hang out.
Wow. I know we'll be there. I'll be there filming with my wife Julie, and sorry, Josh, you can't come.
Sorry,
I
Josh.
don't like third wheeling anyway, so
That's good.
Well, do you want to?
Yeah, totally.
Great. And just a couple other notes for people who are listening. Max has his own website and Facebook page similar to Jacob. You can find both of their links on the Youth on Assignment Facebook page as well as the Youth on Assignment website, youthonassignment.org.